What about the managers and the leaders in a company? If they observe that somebody is overloaded in some way and they're a little bit concerned, and that person actually is a carer, but they don't know it yet, they haven't had
Mhm.
that conversation, what should that manager do? How should they approach that person and bring it up?
Mm. You just made me think of something actually. One of the things I've learned in the last year is that it takes someone 2 years to identify as a carer. So they think maybe it's because they think it's a temporary situation, maybe it's because they um, aren't comfortable with the terminology or something like that. But yeah, it takes a little while for someone to self-identify. So actually, it would be incredible if a manager would say, "Oh, you know how you've been looking after your mum who had a stroke? You know that that means that you are a carer
Hmm.
and you have this." You know,
Hmm.
identity which is recognized at work, and we have things that we can do to help. Um, so I think in the very first instance, just gently having encouraging well-being conversations that can be in one-to-ones or leading by example, talking about like, I schedule um, a holiday, like time off work, time away from work. I was going to say holiday, but sometimes we don't use our annual leave to get on a plane and go and lie on a beach. Sometimes we use it to catch up
Hmm.
on
Hmm.
life or just not go to
Yeah.
work for a bit and catch up on sleep or whatever it is. But anyway, scheduling regular breaks, encouraging people in your team, like once a quarter, have you taken some time off recently? I haven't seen you take any time off
Hmm.
for six
Hmm.
months, and I think it would be advisable. Um, Most companies or a lot of companies have employee assistance programs that might have resources there, either for someone to have like therapy or some sort of like outlet for their own stress and help them come to terms with this situation if it's new for them. But also, actually, what I'm increasingly seeing is some of those platforms actually have like services for getting care support. So support workers
Right.
to come and look after like parents and stuff like that. They have like recommended service providers and things like that. So it's incredible that this is starting to be recognized on that basis. Um, but yeah, like I think really it's making sure that managers ideally are trained in who is a carer, how can I spot them, how can I spot those early signs of fatigue or even burnout starting to happen, and how can I intervene gently. So not making someone feel worse than they already do if they're struggling, but how can I have start a dialogue if just in case someone doesn't feel ready to do it themselves. So do it in a supportive way.
Can I ask you if you, and I was listening to what you were saying there. Do you think that there is a slight stigma about the word carer and what it means?
Yes. Um, there is a lot of debate within the caring community as to, I don't think anyone really likes it. Varying reasons for it sounds a bit soft for what the reality of what it's describing. Um, I think there's a little bit of it's of course you care because you would do it anyway because they're your family, friend, loved one, that kind of thing. And so that it somehow minimizes the experience. Just care. Care sounds quite
Hmm.
soft, as I say, or
Hmm.
inconsequential, and something that doesn't belong in a workplace conversation.
Number 4 on your list is that caring is not a performance issue. What does that mean?
Um, as I said, I think a lot of carers hide what's going on for them because they worry that people will perceive them as being less ambitious or less capable or less dedicated. So if leaders, managers, employers can avoid assumptions. So no two caring stories are the same as far as I'm aware. The needs are different. Everyone's experience is quite different. So yeah, focusing on the individual's needs and um yeah, like and not assuming that their performance is automatically going to be compromised permanently would be a good thing. And so for example, focus on the outcomes, the successes of the things that they achieve at work, not visibility or how many hours they've spent at their desk. There is a bit of a tendency sometimes for people to be like, "Oh, that person's not been in for a few days," or How come they've been working from home?" When people make, and I'm not saying everyone has to spill their guts on why they're at home. Like, people should be able to protect their confidentiality of their situation. They shouldn't feel like they have to tell the whole company about it. But if the manager knows and understands and basically says, "Oh well, excellent. Kirsten's been the first person to hit target this quarter," or "this client's really happy because of this amount of time and care and effort that's gone into this particular account," or something like that. Um, Remembering that even if someone's hours, performance, capacity has been compromised by caring, they can still actually deliver.
Yeah. Yeah.